This is part 2 on how to blind solve the Rubik's Revenge. Last video I explained, very briefly, you need to figure out a way to get this piece, which is the edge piece you're going to solve. You're going to have to find a way to shoot it into the location it needs to go. So you would look at it right here, say, okay, how can I get this piece over to here? Alright, but the point, so what you'd have to do is you'd have to perform a setup move that gets this piece right here, gets it up here. Now there's a few rules you have to follow. You can't do a simple turn. It would be like an L, BI. If I did that, it gets that location up there. Okay? I can't do a turn like that. Normally it would get it up there, but it doesn't do it correctly. Because the way the R2 method works, when you perform your R2 turn, your 4 centers get rotated, as you know. Not your 4, your 8 centers on that slice get rotated. So you have to find a way so the same 8 centers continuously get rotated. That way you don't screw up your centers and make it harder to memorize. So what you have to do is every time you put in an edge piece, you put in a piece up to this location, as you know, it's on the U layer and the B layer. Meaning every time you put in an edge piece, I call it putting it in through the U layer and putting it in through the B layer. So you look at it and say, okay, if I want to get this piece up here, how can I do it with the fewest moves possible? You put it in through the B layer. The reason you would normally do an L turn BI, even though I said you can't do it, that would be technically the fastest way to do it. So you're technically putting it in through the B layer. When you put it in through the B layer, that means your last turn is always going to be either B or BI. So the way this works is all your B's and BI's need to negate each other, or if you're putting it into the U layer, all your U's and UI's need to negate each other. The basic way this works is I can't just do a BI turn, because then it screws up the centers. If I did a B then a BI turn through the setup moves, my centers would return to normal on my back layer. So instead of just doing LBI, I'm going to have to undo that BI in the beginning by doing a B turn. Okay? This way, my centers are already turned clockwise, meaning once I do the BI turn to set the edge in there, it will have undone itself and returned the centers to normal. So then I can do the R2 turn, undo the setup moves, and it'll still be these two centers that I've swapped. The same works for the U layer. All your U's and UI's need to negate each other. So that's how you would do it. Now, follow my instructions if this edge piece right here, the place it needs to go is on the L face, the R face, or if it needs to go to location B, which would be on the R slice. Okay? What you're going to do, you're going to find a way to get that edge piece into this location. You can't use B and U in the algorithm, but you can, or the setup move, but you can use B or U. You can't use them together. Meaning, like if I had location L, what I would do is, okay, normally it would just be a B turn to get it up there. But in order to do that B turn to get it up, I need to do a BI turn. But first, if I just did a BI turn right here, I would move my piece down over here. I don't want to do that. So what you would start off the algorithm doing R, BI, RI, B, and it would put it up there. Of course, I don't need to do L, so I'm just going to show you when I want to get to location X, like this needs to go. I do B, L, BI. If you notice, my centers did not change at all. Okay? So I'll show you. They did not change. So remember, it's yellow, blue, green, blue. If I do the setup moves, it's still yellow, blue, green, blue. Alright, so once again, I want to get this piece, the X location, up to the B location. I would do B, L, BI. If you want to just memorize the setup moves, well, that would be the X location. And then you say, okay, this piece needs to go up here. Up here, you're going to do an R2 move. It would then place your edge piece right up there and undo your setup moves. So then it would be B, RI, BI. If you look, the edge piece should be solved. Alright, just going to undo that. Show it again. So you look, it's got to go to this location. So you do B, R, or BLBI. I think I've been saying R this whole time. BLBI, R2, BLIBI. Now, if you notice, all your centers on your R slice should be rotated 180 degrees, so they should just be opposite each other. Okay. So next, I look at this piece. This piece needs to go to the D location. Right? It's white and blue, and it needs to go up here. The way I know this, if I did an F2 move, this white would be up here. Meaning that if I just did a UI turn, it would go over there. So its orientation would be in the D location. Now, normally I would just do a UI turn, and there it's in. But like I said, you can't do that. So I have to do a U-turn first. But a U-turn affects the piece, and it moves it out of the location. It makes it not work. So here's what you have to do. You have to do RI. This way it gets it out of here. Remember, the R and L faces are not affected by the R2 turn. So if I do RI, U, well, hold on. If I did RI, I'm going to show you the pieces down here. It's out of the U layer. Do a U. Now I've done the first setup. I do R, UI. These centers are back to normal, and I have my piece in place. Then do the R2 turn, U, RI, UI, R. And there you go. I now have that piece in place. Now, if you look carefully, your centers should be back to normal on all faces. So every time you do the R2 move twice, your center should be back to normal. Now, remember, you can only use this specific part. You can only use these setup moves and the R2 move for any piece that's on the R face, the L face, or your B location. If it's the B location, simply do an R2 move. You have no setup moves required. Alright, this piece needs to go to location M. This one is one of my least favorites, actually. You have to do a B, I, 2 R's, and a B. I'll show you why. It has to go in through the B layer. Alright? This piece has to go right here. And this piece, if I did an R, UI turn, it would not go in correctly. So I have to put it in through the B layer. You do a BI turn, R2, well, I want to show you that one, too. I have to get this onto the B layer, so I have to do normally, if it's back here, I would have to do a B turn, so I'm going to undo that and do the BI, 2 R's, and a B. Alright, do my R2 turn, do my BI, R2, and a B. Now that piece is solved. This one has to go to location C. This goes in through the B layer. The way you know is, another way to figure this out, since D went in through the U layer, its adjacent edge will go in through the B layer. Adjacent edges always go through the other layer. So this piece, you do BI, R, B, 2 R's, BI, RI, B. Now if you see this edge piece is solved, my centers are back to normal because I've done the R2 move 4 times. This has to go to location P. Location P works the same way as location M across from it. It would do a B turn, 2 L's, and a BI, R2, B, 2 L's, B, 2 L's, BI. And there you go, it's in place. Alright. I'm not going to have enough time to explain the next part, because as you can see, this one has to go onto the L layer. So in the next part, I'm going to explain how to get, when it has to go onto one of the 4 edges on the L layer. You do something a bit different. This is the part 2 to how to blind solve the Rubik's Revenge. Thanks for watching.